Hi Team BodyFire, welcome back. I am in a crypt under a church at the moment with Dan Hardy, who is dressed very smart, but very calm hair. And not like, you know, I did expect big things. Yeah. We've got a little bit of shape to it, but there's no colour, there's no aggression.
I've got to take it down a level. You know, I'm in London. I'm in amongst, you know, the British gentlemen, and I've got to tone it down and, you know, make an effort with my clothing. I feel.
I mean,
because you're so smart and dressed.
Well, that's very kind of you. You know, I've got a little bit of fine tailoring, but you can't. I suppose you can't take it up a level when you're in the crypt of a church.
Well, yeah, I do kind of sweat a little bit when I'm in a church. It makes me nervous.
Does it? Are you like burst into flames when you walk through the door?
Yeah, reminds me of being at school.
So listen, we're here today going to talk a little bit about some of your training. You know, you're in a period at the moment where you're having a year off for some medical reasons, but you've obviously been a professional fighter for a long time, and I wanted to get a little bit of an insight from you about some of your training and some of the areas that now you're more experienced and more mature is you know, what you've learned and what you find you would have added if you had your time again.
Yeah. Well, it's only been recently, the last couple of fights, the last couple of training camps, that I've added a session in that was dedicated to recovery, which I look back on my career now, and I think it's ridiculous that I didn't have time dedicated to it before. But it was just, you know, that was an extra training session, so we just worked hard and beat ourselves up. Whereas now I understand, particularly as I'm getting a bit older, I'm starting to understand the benefits of actually allowing your body to recover and the benefits that you're going to get in the next training camp. So the last two training camps I've added in hot yoga. That's been a real benefit. It's, you know, it's corrected a lot of things about my posture that were causing me problems, and old injuries that have been due to, you know, the muscles tightness and things like that. They've all stretched out and relaxed. So this year it's been like a recovery year, and my body feels very, very different now. No aching joints, my hands don't ache, and my spine's so much more mobile. Yeah, I feel better.
It is crazy that people, I'm guilty of it, the conditions at WAS are always on me, that because we enjoy as athletes flogging ourselves, getting out of breath, being tired, that we find you know, recovery, putting your feet up, icing, actually having a day off, God forbid, is something that you dismiss. You know, having a little dynamic stretch at the end of a session. Oh no, I won't do it because it's not what we class as training. Yeah. Obviously, it's massively important. The bigger your, like, if you imagine it as we talked about before, like the circles, the bigger your training circle gets in volume, your recovery circle needs to grow. And you found through the yoga and a bit of mobility and actually some rest, you've got a lot more benefits. So when you come back to train and fight, you're in better shape. Yeah,
yeah, definitely. I feel like I could start training camp now and spend 6 weeks preparing for the fight instead of 12, which, you know, normally I would be spending 12 weeks to get my weight down, which was an issue in the past as well, which since starting yoga, my weight has not really fluctuated a great deal. And also just, you know, just having that time to yourself to connect with your body and just see what's working and what's holding you back, and have a planning process to kind of help that along and heal it in some way. It's been such a benefit to, you know, go back into a sparring session after a day off and feel like I want to be in the sparring session instead of just being beaten up and tired from the day before.
So is that what you derive from this period? Is that actually it's working clever, not longer? Yeah. And is it the mobility or just the yoga specifically that's really helped you? In what areas of that? Are you just feeling fresher, able to move a bit better?
Well, the style I do is hot yoga, and there are a lot of benefits to that. One is the temperature. It helps me get deeper into stretches without doing any kind of damage. Obviously, stretching in a crypt as cold as this would be really difficult. So the heat enables, you know, more mobility naturally anyway. The sweating also cleanses my body. It cleans my body out. I feel fresh and feel more alert. And it also keeps my weight down, which is, you know, the thing a lot of the time with fighters, because we fight in cycles. We'll have 3 fights a year. We'll fight and then we'll spend a month sitting on the sofa eating cookies and cake. And I mean, I don't do that, but I have in the past pigged out a bit and gained a lot of weight, and, you know, walk around over 200 pounds when I fight at 170 is not wise. And with the hot yoga, that's helped keep the weight down. And then just being present and not having to focus on somebody else, something external from myself. In a yoga class, it's me and my mat and my bottle of water, and all I have to do is focus on what I'm doing with my body and what my ranges of motion are. I don't have to deal with somebody else trying to hit me in the face while I'm dealing with those things. So it's like a psychological rest for me as well. It's a breather. It's a time to take a break from that crazy gym environment with the loud, obnoxious music and the egos, and be in a quiet space with peaceful people that are just there to stretch and heal.
So you reckon that if you're if you're a busy mum, or you're just a gym goer or an athlete, that actually taking aside a session a week to go and do hot yoga, because it is hard. I don't think people realise how hard yoga is. I'm really stiff, my shoulders get particularly sore, my mobility, and I find it really, really difficult, and it's a complete workout in itself, and that bolting this onto your normal training week is actually probably more sensible than trying to throw in another weight session.
Yeah, definitely, and it's making me strong in a different way as well. It's giving me an all-round strength, because obviously the more advanced postures involve handstands and a lot of balancing on the hands and things like that. So there is a lot of strength and conditioning involved, and the thing I like about the hot yoga is that it's kind of in between that kill yourself athlete mentality and the have a nice relaxing stretch, because it's still hot, it's still uncomfortable, and it's still hard work, and it's not going to be the right style of yoga for everybody. I like it because I like that challenge, and I like this heavy sweating and a bit of discomfort. But any kind of yoga is a benefit.